Welcome to an episode of Chat Sports Talk, and welcome to the kickoff of the 2025 college football season. Well, let me correct myself. Not really kickoff because I'm late. It kicked off last week, week 0 matchups. Had a great opening salvo over there in Dublin, Ireland, and had Farmegeddon in Ireland between Iowa State and Kansas State, which was a phenomenal game between those two. And congrats to Iowa State for winning the kickoff there in Dublin. And let me know that I'm just lacking severely in terms of keeping up with the football aspects, and didn't really pay attention to when the season was starting. I knew it was coming up. It caught up to me. Concentrate on week 1 action. I have 12 games for your enjoyment for this upcoming long weekend of college football action. So college football will be playing Sunday and Monday. NFL doesn't kick off till the following week. So let's kick things off here on Thursday. Out in Arrowhead in Kansas City, we're playing host to both Nebraska and Cincinnati. Now, Nebraska had Cincinnati. Let's start with Cincinnati. Cincinnati had a really terrible year. They just couldn't get anything going towards the end of the season, and it was just getting manhandled left, right, and center. Anytime they had some type of good offense, their defense was letting them down. And for Nebraska, mix and match towards the end of the season, and winning their bowl game against Boston College. But beyond that, things are kind of looking up for Nebraska. Matt Rule is going to turn that program around. I mean, look what we did with Temple. Unfortunately, I think he's just one of these guys who just won't really cut it in the NFL. That's why he didn't last very long with the Panthers. But I have a feeling he will turn this program around back to where the dominance they had during the 80s, early 90s. Maybe not quite that good, but they should be, getting up there. But with this one, just because it's Nebraska, it's more name recognition. Yeah, I know the Kelsey brothers came out of Cincinnati, but not much else. Hey, I'm just going to say it's going to be Nebraska. Right now, they're favored by 66% over Nebraska, over Cincinnati. So it's just going to be a kind of an easy type of thing. Right now, they're favored by 6.5 as well. So, yeah, definitely take Nebraska in this kickoff to week 1 of the college football season. Next, we head over to Waco, Texas, where the Baylor Bears play host to the Auburn Tigers. Both these programs didn't really do very well towards the end of the season. They really couldn't get much going. Baylor ended up going to a bowl game, so it's, ended up losing to LSU. Auburn just, it had that great win against A&M towards the end of the season last year, but struggled against Alabama in the Iron Bowl. They had them on the ropes, and then just Alabama just busted through. So if Auburn could continue that track, they could decently have a good one. Baylor being an 8-win team should have about similar type of style for this season, because right now it's about the 52% predictor that they're going to win, but Auburn has the spread at 2.5. I will take Baylor to win at home. I have a feeling this is going to probably be one of these games that's going to mark these guys to figure out which direction these programs are going to go. But I do have a feeling that Baylor should be sniffing around the top of the Big 12 this year. Not necessarily winning it, but they should be sniffing around there. And I think Auburn's still low in the SEC pool. SEC is just too stacked. Now we head over to Boulder, Colorado, where the Colorado Buffaloes will play host to Georgia Tech and see how Coach Dion has restocked his roster, losing all his big players in this coming draft. Georgia Tech finished strong. I mean, even though they struggled in that their bowl loss to Vanderbilt, Colorado also got blown out by BYU in the Alamo Bowl. But Colorado was in that hunt for the Big 12 title along with BYU. So it's interesting to kind of see how this one kind of plays out, because Deion had always able to retool Jackson State. So Jackson State was always running the SWAC, but I don't know if they can do it again here. We'll kind of see how things kind of play out. And right now, analytics has Colorado, at 53%. But right now, the spread, we got Georgia Tech at 4.5. So it's definitely one of these things you kind of look at. I do think Georgia Tech could probably do it, but I think Georgia Tech's going to be one of these things where they're going to do it like they did last year. Struggle in the beginning, close out strong. I think it's going to happen here. Colorado's going to end up sneaking one out at home. Then Saturday, we had the horseshoe, the big game between preseason number 1 and preseason number 3, Texas and Ohio State. This one should be a Danny. This is Arch Manning's day. Start first game and see how this transpires for the Longhorns. Is he the next great Manning? We'll see. I mean, he had some good outings last year, filled in, and we'll see if he can continue to blossom that aspect. Right now, analytics has Texas at 53%, but the spread has Ohio State at 1.5. This is going to be a game you do not want to miss. It doesn't matter if you are fans of either one of these programs or you hate them both. Now, I'm on the tendency not to like these ones, mainly because of their fans, not really the schools themselves. And I met plenty of UT and OSU fans through my life. But this is a great kickoff game for the college football season. This will probably dictate who's going to be sitting number 1 pretty much throughout most of the year, if they can maintain it. But it's also, if they lose this game, they're still in the hunt for the playoff. This is not an eliminator game. This is a defining moment, especially if it's a close game, like it's look like it's going to be at 1.5. And they're talking about the totals at 47.5. So they're looking for an offensive game, but close. And we'll see how Ohio State can handle the pressure of this game. You saw what they did last year is they ran it in all the way for the national title. Dominating Notre Dame in the championship game. 2 teams no one thought should be there. End up finishing, getting to the championship game. To come back strong. He needs to, come out with a statement. He's going to have a hard time trying to stop Arch Manning. I do think Texas offense will find a way. Both defenses will be tested. I give a slight edge to Ohio State, just ever so slightly. I think it's going to be even less than 1.5, but this is going to be one of these games that's going to come down to, someone missing an extra point. I have a feeling it's going to be that close, but definitely a game you should really just put yourself in front of that couch, eating wings, chips and dip, enjoying your favorite beverage, because should be a good slobber knocker. All teams play host to Syracuse. Syracuse had a decent season last year, 9+ wins. Winning their bowl game against Washington State. Tennessee actually made it to the playoffs, got knocked out by Ohio State in the first round quite handily. So they have a lot to rebound from, try to atone for. But right now, analytics is all over Tennessee right now, almost at 89%. The spread's at Tennessee's favor at 13.5. I think they're overlooking Syracuse. And a quick note, this is not at Rocky Top, it's not in Knoxville. It's in Atlanta, part of the Aflac Kickoff. And neutral site game between these two. I think Syracuse might give Tennessee some trouble. Like I said, I think Syracuse is being overlooked. I don't think Syracuse is going to win. So, just pump the brakes there. And I think a 13-point win by Tennessee is probably more likely. So the points, that's kind of iffy. But I'll still take Tennessee to win, the kickoff there in Atlanta. But it may not be much of – I think it's going to be a lot closer than what they may want. Now it's time to head down to Tallahassee, where Florida State play host to Alabama, and see how these programs can kind of rebound, because both of them had some down years. Florida State had a terrible year last year. Alabama just couldn't, win enough to get themselves into the playoff, or at least the discussion. I mean, but they even lost to Michigan in the bowls. But right now, analytics got all over Alabama at 90%. And they got to tied at a 13.5 advantage. Right now, there's nothing Florida State's thinking that makes me think they're going to make anything. But it's just one of these things you can't overlook Florida State. I mean, they'll find ways. Now, they might find ways to mess it up. I mean, they got to fix that defense, something terrible, because their defense allowed the offenses just to run amok on them. If they have fixed that defense, Alabama's going to be in trouble, because Alabama's offense has been sputtering. But Alabama's defense is going to dictate this game, and this is the area I think Alabama is going to thrive in, is the defensive side of the ball, and see how they can try to stranglehold everyone, because it's one of these things, if their offense can't do it, it's their defense got to come up with the plays, got to come up, put them in good situations where the offense only needs a few plays to score, and that's what all it needs. I think that's what it's going to be. Point spread wise, I mean, it's just like the Syracuse-Tennessee game. I think they're underestimating Florida State a little bit, but I have no problems picking Alabama to win at home. Or win on the road, excuse me. Next, we're going to deal with Montana State visiting Oregon. Now, I don't normally feature FCS teams in these week preview games, but Montana State's one of the premier FCS teams. Always seem to be running for the national championship, always in the playoffs, always have really good teams. I mean, last year they made it all the way only to lose to North Dakota State, and they barely lost that game. This is going to be a challenge for Oregon. Oregon struggled early last year. I mean, Boise State almost got them. Idaho gave them problems. So Oregon needs to make sure they clean up their act against Montana State, because Montana State can take advantage of them quick, fast, in a hurry. But the only thing that's going to make a big difference is Oregon is bigger and stronger. But right now, analytics got huge advantage over Oregon, almost 96%. Then I give Montana State a lot of love. Heck, there's not even a line for this game right now. So it's pretty much anyone's guess on how this one's going to turn out. Once again, it's Montana State. They're going to put up a fight. They're going to put up points. I would not be surprised if they rack up 24 points on Oregon, because Oregon seems to struggle in the beginning of the season. And this is going to be one of those games that Oregon better watch out, because if they struggle, that could affect them later on, because right now they're 7th in the preseason. So they need to make a statement against Montana State. I do have a feeling they will win, but I think it might be like a 14-point win. I think it's going to be a lot closer than what they want. But Montana State should, hang their hat on this one, because they'll make a good showing. But I think Oregon should be able to pull out in the end. But Montana State will definitely scratch that upset alert button. Now we head over to Death Valley of Clemson, South Carolina, as the 4th-ranked Tigers will face the 9th-ranked Tigers of LSU. That's right, the Bayou Bengals, being led by Kelly there. Well, and the Clemson once again is one of these teams that struggled early last year, and they came out strong in the end, getting that slot into the playoffs by winning the ACC title game against SMU. Struggled against SMU, and then losing to Texas, but gave Texas pretty much all they could handle. LSU, of course, winning their bowl game against Baylor. Finished strong, but struggled at the wrong time frames that cost them any shots at the playoff or SEC title. And that's the thing with Kelly. He does tend to kind of do that anyways. I know, he used to be Notre Dame's coach. I mentioned that quite a few times. And I remember a lot of people were talking about LSU was going to win the SEC, and I'm like, no, they're not. But anyways, back to the question at hand. These are two great teams, coached well. I mean, I give Kelly a lot of grief, but he is a good coach. He has changed philosophy there in Baton Rouge, and the players have responded. They had a decent year last year. Clemson had a decent year last year, winning ACC. Good things. And they're going to be on top of the mountain again, ACC, unless someone else comes up and try to knock them off. But right now, analytics has it at SMU at 54%. The line gives it a 3.5-point advantage to Clemson. I like all that. I think it's going to be a very, very close game between these two. Definitely one of these games you want to sit there and watch. This is a later afternoon game for you, so it gives you time to recover from the Texas-Ohio State game. Turn on TV, switch the game over to LSU and Clemson. Shouldn't be disappointed, but I am going with Clemson this one as well. And for your West Coast fans, we have to the Rose Bowl as UCLA will play host to Utah. This used to be a Pac-12 showdown. And both these teams left the Pac-12. Now it's just a Pac-2 for one last season. And we got to see how these guys kind of rebound from last year as they all kind of struggled towards the end. But it's just, one of these things is like sometimes you just can't win them all. Injury bug was a huge factor for Utah. And right now, analytics has UCLA at 52%, but the spread's in favor of Utah at 5.5. Right now, I think Utah's probably more poised to win than UCLA is right now, unless things kind of, change in the next few minutes or a few games and shows UCLA has really come back on top. I have a feeling Utah's going to go down to Pasadena, edge out the Bruins at home, and start the long process for the Bruins this year. Then Sunday. Head back to Hotlanta for another Aflac kickoff game. This time it'll be Virginia Tech taking on the 13th-ranked Gamecocks of South Kakalaki. South Carolina had a great end of the season until they lost to Illinois in the bowl game. Virginia Tech had a also lost in their bowl game last year against Minnesota, don't you know? But Virginia Tech struggled right towards the end. They had some key games that they could have won. They could have beaten Duke. They could have beaten Syracuse, and losing to both of those games. South Carolina had a huge win against Clemson, a big win against Missouri as well. But they were number 3 in the SEC East, even though there's no divisions. But they were kind of the outside looking in terms of the playoffs. And they just had one game, one direction for them. They could have got it. But right now, analytics got South Carolina at 71%. Point spread got them at 7.5. I see no fault in that either. South Carolina. Then we got oldie but goodie. The other game on Sunday. 6th-ranked Fighting Irish in Notre Dame will head down to South Beach to take on the 10th-ranked Hurricanes of the U of Miami in a old clash back of the 90s. Now, can Miami and Notre Dame both retool from decent years last year? Miami, unfortunately, lost at the wrong time, and that cost them everything. I mean, they lost to Georgia Tech, and then they lost at Syracuse, costing them an ACC bid and a playoff position. They ended up losing their bowl game anyways to Iowa State, where the Irish went all the way to the national championship to lose. So they had their first 14-win season. And Campbell is just one of these coaches that just finds a way. In these type of games, he'll do good. It's just that they play a lower level team. That's when they struggle. I.e., Northern Illinois. Marshall was another one. But right now, analytics is kind of split. It's like 55% for the Irish, and the Irish do have a 2.5-point advantage against Miami. I do think Miami will make a game of this. If Irish defense is also retooled and intact, they should take advantage of Miami. I mean, Miami's defense is kind of porous. They do allow a lot of points to score. So definitely find ways for that. I mean, so if the Irish defense can stay intact, stay true to their assignments, and try to shut down this Miami offense, I do like the Irish winning this one. I do think it'll be a 3-point game myself. So I have, no quarrels about the point spread, but I'll give a slight edge to the Irish. And then we'll finish things off September 1st. We'll head over to Chapel Hill and watch the coaching debut of Bill Belichick. That's right. The New England Patriot great head coach with all his Super Bowl trophies and rings has now taken his talents to the college ranks and try to give, a little bit of the college football, the NFL style action to the college students, prepare them for the next level. There's already been plenty of controversy already with Belichick there at Chapel Hill, especially dealing with his girlfriend, and it's another thing altogether. And TCU's got to come in there. They got to try to, lift themselves up a little bit from last year. Yeah, they had a decent year. They ended up going bowling, beat Louisiana in the bowl game. I mean, North Carolina ended up going bowling, but lost to UConn. I mean, they finished losing the last two games back into the bowl season. And I don't know if Belichick ball is going to work at Tar Heel with North Carolina, Chapel Hill. I don't know if you're going to have the Carolina way or the Tar Heel way. I don't know how you're going to put it, but I don't know if it's going to work that well. But I think Bill will use his more aggressive style coaching that he wants to do and probably use it a little bit better in this situation. But right now, analytics got a TCU almost at 59%, and gave him a 3.5-point advantage. I just don't know if this is going to work in North Carolina. But I like to see, Bill Belichick try something different. I mean, take his hands and try to do something different with his football mindset. And see what he can do at Chapel Hill in terms of that program. I mean, Mac Brown actually returned that program back to somewhat for Providence after returning back to Chapel Hill, but realized that, his time is done. So one old guy transferred it to another old guy. Sounds like, the presidency. One old white guy to another old white guy. But I think North Carolina should make this a game. TCU always seen how these games where they kind of fumble the ball a bit, but I get a slight edge to the Horned Frogs and edge out and end and complete that first official week of 2025-26 college football season. But hey, let me know down below, once again, what you're looking forward to. More interaction we have, the better boost the algorithm. The almighty YouTube algorithm we play homage to. Another thing you can help out is hit that like button. And you can also subscribe to the channel. Very easy thing to do and absolutely free. You just hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and click that bell icon. Links to the next time I post any more content on my channel. And I will see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.